welcome to the viewers of Dataquest. This time it is my privilege to present Dr. Omkar Rai, Executive Chairman of Startup Odisha and former Director General of the Software Technology Parks STPI. It's great to have you, Dr. Rai. Welcome.
Thank you for hosting me. It's a pleasure to be on the forum of cyber media.
Yeah. So I'll get straight to it. So maybe we can start with your current role. Can you tell us a bit about the Odisha startup scene and where it is headed?
In fact, Odisha startup ecosystem has grown to the kind of statistics that we have. We have 1,800 startups by now. We serve the startup ecosystem through 27 incubators, including one incubator that has been created by the state government. We call it OHUB. This is about 4 lakhs square feet of space. 4 lakhs square feet of space kind of incubator that the government has just instituted. So we have the startup ecosystem in our state is driven by our startup policy that was created in 2016, and subsequently it was also revised. If you look at the startup ecosystem in the state, it is attracting a lot of investment from across. Just recently, 3 of our startups have received equity funding. One of them is Cure Bay, which has received 62 crore Indian rupees just now. So far, Startup Odisha has also been extending grants to the startups, even to the incubators. And we have, in the last financial year, we have extended grants to the startup ecosystem, 122 startups, in the tune of more than 6 crore. So the startup ecosystem in our state is attracting external investment, equity funding, internal grants from the government of Odisha, the Startup Odisha. Startup Odisha has evolved as a large family of, as I said, 1,800 startups with 27 incubators. One is owned by the state, which is a kind of platform or a clearing house of ideas. And from here, we deliver all the services to the entire startup ecosystem. If you look at the outreach and inclusiveness of the startup ecosystem in the state, we are creating a lot of outreach among masses across the state. Just recently, we concluded Startup Yatra, meant for the higher education students from higher educational institutions, and Startup Express, meant for the school students. And both the Yatra has just been concluded for this year, for the last year, I would say. And the kind of statistics we have is very encouraging. We could outreach to more than 35,000 students across the state, across all 30 districts, more than 200 colleges. And we have been able to garner 4,600 ideas from them. We are processing at this moment, we will select 200 ideas out of them, and they will be further given acceleration support. And finally, we will identify 10 from each Yatra and Express, and they will be rewarded with incentives and grants and support in terms of incubation support. And what I am saying is that on one hand we have infrastructure, other hand we have policy, and in addition we are creating an entire ecosystem across the state. So we are also creating a funnel and supply of the startup, outreaching to the young boys and girls across the state so that they can join this very movement, this very journey with us. So this is the scenario as of now.
So it's nice to hear about the length and breadth of the Odisha startup system. Now, you were also earlier with the STPI. What kind of journey has the Indian startup industry had? What changes took place during the pandemic? And what does the future look like for the Indian startup industry?
Of course, I was the Director General of STPI for about 12 years.
Right.
And I moved on in last of the year 2021. And so STPI as an organization had been instrumental in promoting the technology industry in this country, IT industry in this country. And it has been seen as a very successful single window clearance platform and a system in the government. So we all know that the kind of success that IT industry of India has achieved, and what has happened out of it is that the IT industry of India in turn has given birth to several movement in this country. If you look at the so-called India stack, actually it is driven by the IT services industry of India. And if you also look at the unicorns in the technology startup ecosystem, it is again powered and driven by IT industry of India. We know that the cost arbitrage in terms of technology startup ecosystem that is brought in India because of the IT services. Because for creating a kind of converting ideas into technology product is costlier in Europe and US than in India. And that is why we are looking at and finding the emergence of a lot of startup in this country. As far as we have about 100,000 startup in this country with about 110 unicorns as of now. And if you look at the growth of unicorns and if you look at pattern carefully, you will find that the number of unicorns we created are mostly in last 3 years only. You just mentioned about basically pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic lockdown and all. I must say that was a game changer. During that period, the things came to a halt, and then IT services industry of India actually resorted to the working from home, and the digital adoption in this country grew at a very faster pace. People became accustomed to using the digital technology platform, and that helped in digitization of the government process, and also the people at large in this country started interacting, engaging, and working with the digital platform, and that helped the startups to grow their user base, and that is how their valuation grew and equity came, and that is how we have seen large number of unicorns that emerged, that were created during last 3 years.
So another thing is, like India has an ambitious mission 2047 goal to be a tech and economic superpower 100 years after independence. So what kind of a role will startups play in that? Like one NASSCOM report says we have to go beyond Bangalore, Bombay and Delhi and go to the other cities. In that context, it was very heartening to listen to your Odisha scenario. So maybe if you can speak about the mission 2047.
In fact, this mission 2047 we are talking about is about completing 100 years since our independence, and that is a kind of psychological date for us. I would say that we have achieved a lot during last few years. The pace of change has actually grown. We are changing the things at a very accelerated, manner. What is happening right now is that the entire landscape is evolving and changing at a very fast pace. The kind of growth, the growth in GDP that we have to achieve year on year can only be powered by startup ecosystem. We are growing perhaps 7.6% this year, and I think that this growth can be fast tracked and even can be sustained only with the startup ecosystem. And if you are generating more and more startups, young boys and girls are becoming startups. They start solving problems. They start creating jobs. They start creating wealth. They also start delivering their services across the world and attracting a lot of wealth within this country. That is required to happen actually, to sustain this projection, sustain this expectation in GDP growth, and also to even fast track this growth in the GDP, maybe that we can take it to 2 digit in times to come. And it can only happen with the more and more startups. If we are able to create more and more startups, I must say that the entire nation is absolutely aware, and all are working together in tandem, hand in hand. I must refer to the kind of effort that Startup Odisha is making. The Honorable Chief Minister of Odisha has already mandated us to take the startup ecosystem by around 5,000 by 2025. These kind of mandates, these kind of goals, targets are being set by the governments across the country, and that is why if we will able to put the things together and grow at this pace that we have set for us, and in case we are able to keep up with this, then I am very sure that by 2047 we will be the world's largest economy, basically, I must say. We are at the fifth, and I was reading the statement made by Honorable Commerce Minister of India, Honorable Finance Minister of India. And what she said is that we will become a 5 trillion economy by 2025. And that we will become world's third largest economy in times to come. Looking at the kind of number we have, 1.44 billion people we have world's largest technology industry in this country. India is actually home to the R&D, technology product creation. We are serving the technology companies, BFSI companies, and we are serving the entire world from here in terms of technology development. So we have become a kind of outsourcing destination, basically for even R&D as a service, technology development as a service. So what is happening is that we are in turn engaging with large number of talent in this country who are developing technology for their customers, and they are the people. This is the kind of knowledge system that we are evolving in our country would finally put us in a very leading position across the board, because I would again refer back to the development of India stack. If you look at the unique UIDI, Aadhaar, we have created world's largest biometric identity based database. But not only that, we created only database. Now, lot of number of users are able, large number of applications are interacting with this database in real time. And that is why this DG Yatra, the DBT, direct benefit transfer, is happening at a very different. Even if you look at the UPI based platform, it is world's largest peer-to-peer payment protocol. That is showing its result. So, and if you look at so many other technology development that this country has seen, apart from the fast emergence of unicorns in this country, this all goes to show that on the very foundation of the ecosystem that IT services industry has laid, we can grow so many things over a period of time. And finally, it will be the MSME sector and largely by the startup ecosystem that we will be able to achieve that kind of expectation and goal that all of us have been setting together for us.
So that's very encouraging to hear. I'm really glad to hear that. Now, Dr. Rai, you have been associated with almost everything related to IT. So one thing I was interested is in electronic system design and manufacturing, ESDM. So how is Make in India placed with regards to our design and manufacturing?
In fact, I have been a very fortunate person because when the focus of the government was laid towards the development of electronics ecosystem in this country, I was associated with the Department of Electronics and IT since then. We had seen the establishment of National Electronic Task Force, and then National Policy on Electronics and IT 2012 it came. Thereafter, the modified special incentive package came, and then the government at all level, various levels, got keen and that let us promote this electronic system design and manufacturing sector, because it is going to create a large number of jobs, and it is also going to minimize our dependence on the foreign players in terms of electronic products, and it will also minimize our import bills. And that is thereafter we have not looked back. A lot of initiatives were taken. I can fondly recall that we, to promote the startup ecosystem in ESDM sector, we established first electronic system design manufacturing incubator. It was done by my organization STPI, and in association with Delhi University, and I think Pradeep Gupta and all those people, we worked together and we established first incubator in collaborative manner in Delhi University. A large number of initiatives have been taken to create an entire ecosystem in this country. And as of now, we can see that we are becoming fast a very second largest based out of China to create the electronic goods, not only to meet our domestic requirement but also to export. Every day we get some news that some electronic major is coming to India and establishing its manufacturing facility. Apart from its manufacturing, India is doing a lot to create the electronic system products. That is key. Patents and design. We were great in terms of electronic system design in any case. Now we are also creating products and patents in this sector, and we are also fast becoming the electronic manufacturing base. So all the electronic measures are coming to us. So entire ecosystem, the value chain is growing in this country, and I am very sure that since this is a domestic demand driven industry, it will grow at a very faster pace, because it would not only be dependent on the export, and therefore another decade we will see the growth at a very different pace, and it will create a lot of wealth and job within this country.
So that's great to hear. We are growing fast, rapidly in a lot of departments. So maybe I'll just have one last question. So all that is in place, but what about like skilling? Because technology moves fast, but now it's accelerating. They talk of tech acceleration, and students, college, school, young professional, old professionals, they have to be reskilled, upskilled. So how are we going to do this daunting task?
We have to do it together. The government, the industry, the educational institutions, and also the aware citizen, young boys and girls of this country. Just to mention that the Government of India Electronics and IT, Ministry of Electronics and IT, it has already worked with the NESCOM to create a platform for upskilling, reskilling of the manpower, talent employed in IT industry. So that was something which was done, and I am very sure that this program is going on. Apart from that, the skilling is a major thrust that all the state governments and the central government is giving to. The point is that we generate large number of graduates in STEM sector, STEM disciplines, but their quality is not up to that level where they can be readily deployed and employed by the industry at large. And therefore, a lot of effort are being made. I must say that this whole skilling business has to be made part of the education, and the educational institutions, industry has to work together to make sure that the educational institution produce the young boys and girls who are readily deployable, and they should not require any bridge course or any skilling course thereafter. So unless this is done, we will keep on deploying a lot of resource and time, and we will also waste a lot of time, national time, of young boys and girls and graduates of our country between their passing out and their deployment in the industry. So this gap has to be minimized slowly, and we must foresee a scenario and a time when there won't be any requirement for separate skilling of the young boys and girls. As far as the reskilling and upskilling is concerned, that would be required to be done. And I am very sure that the stakeholders must evolve, must create a strategy to dynamically and real time address this reskilling and upskilling requirement, because it has to be assimilated in the work culture, so that young boys and girls are employees who are working wherever they are. They must get those skills real time while doing their actual job. So this is the way I look at this.
So, anyway, thank you for that very exhaustive overview. And I think exciting times are ahead, and there is great optimism for the next couple of decades. Great to hear your experience.
I'm very sure. I mean, we are looking towards a very bright future for this country, and all the stakeholders, farmers, young boys and girls, women, artisans, craftsmen, artists, scientists, technocrats, publishers, all of us have to work together to make this India great again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your opportunity.